Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I'm coming at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about my O Group project, my 15mm O Group project. I kind of put it on the back burner a little bit while I got some other projects or other things done. But right now I'm currently working on my O Group project, so I thought it would be a good time to do an update. All right, so just to bring you up to speed, I have the O Group main book and the Normandy book, and I also have did a small play test to see if I could play smaller battles using the O Group rules. So like a company on the table instead of a battalion, or multiple companies, but maybe not a full battalion. And it works perfectly fine. It worked, not perfectly fine. It worked so well, I was amazed. So if I wanted to scale down a battle, any battle, like if I find a scenario that I like that is only a company on each side, O Group will still work for that system or for that game. Maybe with a little bit of tweaking here and there, but I didn't do very much tweaking and it worked really well. I only played like 5 or 6 turns, but that was just enough for me to find out whether or not if it was going to work or not. And it did. It worked perfectly fine. All right, so I used German Grenadiers versus U.S. paratroopers and used the Lafayette Bridge. I actually expanded the map just slightly, so it wasn't 25 yards per inch. It was probably 20 yards per inch or something like that, because I wanted the map to fill the full 4x6 table. That was just me tweaking it a little bit again. Okay, so that kind of implies that I finished a paratrooper battalion and a German Grenadier battalion, and I've got quite a few other figures painted and ready to go, but they're not set up for O Group army lists. They're not set up as a battalion in O Group. And some of them don't have enough figures painted to accommodate a battalion in O Group. So if I was to work on any of those additional battalions, I would have to paint a few more figures and do a little bit of rebasing, right? Because most of my figures currently are on medium-sized Flames of War bases, and I want to make sure that they are on the small Flames of War bases. So I could also use them in Battle Group. I could use them in O Group. I could use them in Spearhead or Command Decision. So that's one reason why I want to rebase them. Okay, so having all that out of the way, I've also got my British Canadians, right? The guys that I was going to use for the Canada's Crucible, they're on the table right now. They are stripped off of their bases, all but the medium machine guns. And then what I'm going to do today is rebase them. So I'll have a British battalion ready to go. I have all the figures I need except for maybe 1 or 2 figures, but I figure I can just go ahead and shortchange. A couple of combat patrols. It won't hurt anything, right? All right, so I also need to figure out which one of my battalion bases I want to use for my British and paint it up. So I might be painting that today. All right, so the British I'm working on. I'm not going to move the camera to let you see it. They're sitting right there. If you watch any of my live streams, you'll probably see me working on these guys. Now, buildings. Okay, I got my battle scale order in with the 15 buildings that I was going to use to make my built up areas. All but one. One didn't come in the package, but it's on its way. So I got 14 buildings, and I kind of came to the conclusion that some of the buildings I want to glue to their built up area bases, but some of them I want to use as buildings that'll just sit down on top of a built up area template because I can use them in other areas, or maybe I can have one built up area template that's like this, and maybe another built up area template that's like this, or another one that's built like that, or something. And then I could use the same building on each built up area. So what I'm going to do is, and I pretty much have decided that a handful of them I am going to glue down because I think they're going to work well on the built up area, or they'll be unique on these built up areas. And then I can really put some work in on these built up areas. But on these modular built up areas, I'm going to take some cork like I did for my Roman village. I'm going to put some cork down as a foundation for each of the buildings, and then the buildings can just sit on the cork. They're not going to have to be glued down. But I still want to put some walls and fences and hedges along the outer edge of the built up areas, with maybe some gates or maybe some cobblestone on the ground or something like that. So so I'll have to be cognizant of where I'm putting these foundations, where the buildings are going to be, so I can figure out where I'm going to put the fences and the hedges. I've debated internally on whether or not I was going to just make these bases with no perimeter, like no fence, wall, hedge, or anything, and then just put a building wherever I want on there. Maybe texture it, maybe put cobblestone or grass or something like that, but just have it completely flat with the building not glued, so I could lay all these built up areas. I can stack them up and then just store them in a box somewhere. And then when I need a built up area, I can pull one of these out. This is what's going through my head because of storage, right? And then I can put the built up area down. I can put the building or two on the built up area template, and voila, I'll have a built up area. And if I wanted a fence, wall, hedge, or something around the outer perimeter, I could make these separate pieces, which are just fence, like a straight fence or a straight hedge or something, and I can set it beside the built up area. So it'll look like the built up area is like a farm inside of a perimeter or something like that. I think that's the way I'm going to go, just because I want them to be flexible. I want them to be modular, like I could put a church on one base, or instead I could put a gas station on one base or something like that. I don't know exactly how I want to do this. Yeah, plus they would work well with my Napoleonics Maybe not so much my ancients because they're more modern buildings, but they would work well with my Napoleonics or my World War II if I kept them modular. Well, they would work also okay if I glued them down, but by keeping them modular, it allows for units to fit on the built-up area like a large uh, Napoleonic unit could fit on the built-up area. If I needed to move a building or two, I could do that because they wouldn't be glued down. That's what's going through my mind. All right, so my O group project is finish my British. They're on the table right now. I'm going to make a British battalion. I'm going to work on these built up areas, but I'm also going to work on some fences and hedges. And I still have a few more fields that I want to put together. When I played my game, I realized that my fields were lacking in quantity. I couldn't cover the entire table. Not that you need to cover the entire table, but I would like to have the option to cover the entire table. The roads the roads that I did work on were very bespoke for the Lafayette Bridge battle. I need to make some generic roads that I could just put out depending on whatever battle it is. Yeah, other than that, I think we're good to go on that. Oh, yeah, okay. I noticed something, right? This is just an anecdote which might interest you. I have 6 mortars, 6 like 3-inch mortars for the British, and they are, you don't need any, right? Because the if a British battalion has mortars, they could be deployed off table, so you don't even need to have them on the table. But I personally want to have a couple of mortars on the table to show that there are battalion mortars available. Plus, if they ever run out of ammo or anything like that, I could mark them on the table. And it's also just serves as a reminder. And if I need to place any orders on them or anything like that, I could do that. So what I want to do is take 2 of those 6 mortars and keep them as mortars for my battalion. But that leaves me with 4 other mortars that I painted up and had ready to go that I don't need. I just don't need them at all. So I'm going to be putting them up on eBay, just so you know. I still want to put together some 25-pound howitzers to represent the off-board artillery. That I still need to do. I already have a bunch of Shermans and carriers and trucks and stuff like that I'm going to be able to use as tow vehicles or reconnaissance vehicles. So all of those are pretty much done. I have like 1 M10, a couple of Fireflies, some Shermans as well. So we'll just have to figure out what I need. I did notice that the British come with 0 medium machine guns, but you can spend points to get a medium machine gun and a Piat, right? And that's like one of the first options you can get. And then in the divisional assets, you can attempt to get another medium machine gun. I mean, it's cheap. It's like 2 points or something like that. But so tells me the maximum number of medium machine guns I'm going to need is 2, and so 1 guaranteed for me, and then 2 as a possibility. And there's a rule for the British that you can't attach more than one medium machine gun to any of your units. So even if you did have 2, it would serve, or it would function independently as its own unit, and so I don't think it's worth getting. So yeah, it's very. I don't know. It just seems like the British don't have a whole lot of medium machine guns, but they've got a 2-inch mortar in every platoon, so they have this ability to advance under the cover of smoke. So they get a special rule where if they move slowly, no matter if they're in the open or not, you still have to roll observation dice to see them. I think that's pretty cool. And I've got a bunch of 2-inch mortars intermixed in my loose figures, so I'll just include them into the platoons when I put them together. All right, that's it. That's it for the update. Look forward to me doing, maybe in the next week or two, I'll do another battle report, but this time I might actually play a scenario out of the book. I'm not sure. I'm still kind of fuzzy on the rules. I know I played a little bit and I pretty much figured everything out, but I still want to kind of crunch some numbers, and just kind of see what all the units can do and stuff like that. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next video.